Good morning, everyone. This is TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we're here to talk with Robin Shimizu and friends about your happy, healthy habits. We are so excited when Robin comes in. She always has such great guests. And we're going to ask her to introduce her guests today. Robin, what do you have for us today?
Good morning, everybody. This morning we have Lawana Parker, who is a dear friend of mine. She is an entrepreneur. She does a lot of different things, but right now what we're doing is we're concentrating on journaling and learning the benefits to our soul and our psyche and our health
Mm.
around journaling. So, Lawana, welcome, 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 and tell us all about what you have for us today.
Well, good morning, and thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of the program this morning. I am going to be speaking on journaling because journaling can provide so much in the form of health and wellness. And I know that's one of the things that you specialize in. I've listened to you share your knowledge before, and journaling to me just go hand in hand with what you do. Uh, First of all, I'm going to talk about how to get started with journaling because most I find most people tell me, "Well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to write. I can't think of anything. I don't have time." And I'm just want to let you know. First off, we'll talk about rather how to get started, and then I can share with you how you can have the time that you didn't feel you had in order to do this. And this is really important. You can get started with journaling by simply taking a family photo and looking at that photo and saying, you know what? I remember this day, and
Mhm.
start writing about what happened on that day that that picture was taken. Tell us what you're thinking, what you were thinking at that time. Just share the memories that that picture brings forth, and you'll be surprised at how soon you are actually starting to write. And
Oh,
that's one way. Another is to have some prompts. I keep a list of prompts so that if I feel like writing and I can't think of anything, and maybe I don't have a picture that pushes my buttons, then I'll look at one of those prompts and respond to it. I just trying to think here of one off the top of my head, and of course I'm on TV, so one is not popping up. But here's one that I shared with someone before. How will your life be different this year? Or is there something big that's going to make a difference in your life? Is there something that you would like to have happen that could make a difference? And you just answer those questions, and that will start you the writing, putting something in your journal. That's a prompt. Another one is to actually take some doodling and just start doodling. And there are other ways that you can start journaling as well, but that's three things that could get you started today. And if you go over to my blog, this is a shameless plug here,
no.
lawanasblog.com, there is actually a free uh, pamphlet that you can download that gives you tips on getting started to writing, even if you hate writing. So
Mm.
feel free to go over there and grab that.
Wait. Question.
Yes,
Lawana's Lawana's blog.
lawanasblog.com.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll write that in Facebook in the comments.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's one way to get started. As I said, there are many ways that you can get started, but this will get you your brains working, and you'll probably come up with some that I hadn't even thought of. That's the good thing about it. If you have one thing that can start your brain to working, it'll supply others to go along with it. But the
Mm-hmm.
main thing is to get started. Now, some benefits. Hmm.
I'm going to
Yeah.
share your picture of your site here, Luana, while you're
Oh, okay.
talking
Some of
about
the
the benefits.
Yes, and there are so many benefits involved with journaling. Now, I talk about a number of things on my blog as far as journaling is concerned. And journaling, as I said, is a health and wellness uh, benefit, which I recognize. Even the scientists have come to the realization that journaling can help you in so many
Welcome,
ways.
Yolanda. Yolanda's in here, and she um, is the business owner of, she's known as Dryer Buzz online, and she's written a number of books, Luana. I know
Mhm.
that you are a um, recognized author, but I just wanted you to know who's in the audience. So we want to give a shout out to Yolanda.
Hi, Yolanda. Thanks for joining us this morning. So, anyway, as I was mentioning, the scientists have come to realize that journaling can help you in so many ways when it comes to your health. And
Mm-hmm.
in fact, are you aware that most multimillionaires journal?
Mm. I did
People
not
like
know that.
Oprah, they keep a record of what they do, what they're thinking, ideas that come to mind. They keep all of that, and it's something that you can refer back to. You can set goals through journaling. But I just want to talk about the the fact that when you have so much on your mind, and then especially nowadays, we really have a great deal of things that are on our mind. And we don't always have people that we can talk to. We don't
Mm.
always have the ability to go out and maybe seek counseling uh, when it comes to share the things that are going on with us. But if you take pen and paper or fingers to a keyboard, or even take up some colored pencils and start drawing in your journal, it can help release all of that. Take
Oh
away
my
that
goodness.
frustration, the tension, the things that have been bothering you. I remember one time, and I've shared this story several times because it's helped me in so many ways when I think about it. I had a friend, I consider her a very good friend, and she said something one time that really hurt my feelings. Now, knowing her, she probably didn't even realize she had hurt my feelings,
Mm-hmm.
but it did. And I carried that around in me all day because I didn't know how to respond to it. And that night when I got home, it was still bothering me. So the next morning when I got to work, I finally I have to say something to her, let her know what she had done. So I approached her and I shared my feelings on what she had said.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget the looks that she gave me. She looked at me and go, honey, if you let what I said bother you, that's on you, not me.
Oh my goodness.
And I thought about that. I even wrote about it because I didn't know how to respond when she said that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of standing there. But I wrote about it later to get it off my chest. And then when I read it, reread what I had written, what she had said, and it hit me that she was absolutely right.
Mhm.
What she had
Mm-hmm.
said should have went right over my head. I should have just forgotten about it and just chalked it up that that was her personality. It came out her mouth, and it didn't necessarily mean that that was what she was thinking when it came to me.
Wow.
And reading it, it taught me something. That message that she gave me, it taught me something because what I learned was that you can't let other people, what other people say and think about you, control you. Because
Mm.
all that night before and that day before, I was upset. She went about her business. Her life continued on. I'm the one who got stopped in my tracks and didn't know what else to do, didn't know how to respond to it. And that was a lesson. It was a good lesson for me to learn. Don't let somebody else control how you think or feel. So writing it down helped me to see what had been said because my brain wasn't thinking otherwise. It was just thinking about what had been said and how I didn't know how to respond to it. And that was starting to bother me as well. But having put it on paper and being able to go back and look at it and reread it, it started to make sense to me that I allow somebody to have control of my day, my night, and
Mm,
my thoughts.
mm-hmm,
So that was a big help. This is one of the ways that journaling can help you. Something that's troubling you, if you put it on paper, you may not see it right then as you're writing it, but if you hold that piece of paper for a few days, maybe even a few hours, and go back and read it, you might see what you missed before, and it may help you in whatever the situation is that you're going through. So
mm.
that's one of the great ways that journaling can help you. Uh,
I never thought of journaling as a way to deal with things that disturb me. I just thought you always had to have some kind of wonderful story to put down, not, and I always thought that what I'm going through is boring,
mhm,
because I have a pretty routine life,
mhm.
you know. So,
But most of us feel that way. I certainly feel that way when I'm speaking to people and I think, wow, I haven't had that type of thing happen to me. So who wants to listen to what I have to say?
you see,
And that's not always true. There are other people out there just like you who are thinking the same way that you are. My life is so routine, it's boring, no one cares. But maybe someone like me need to hear that I'm not the only one who has a boring routine life.
mm,
I don't think your life is boring or routine. I see the things that you do. And some things I've actually come out there and been fortunate enough to be a part of it. And I don't think of you as being a boring person. So what
oh,
you may be thinking of as boring to
boring.
somebody else is exciting because you're doing, and maybe
Oh,
someone else needs to see or hear that message.
how interesting. Okay,
But
that's a perspective.
one of the great things is that you don't have to read that stuff right away. Sometimes
Mm,
I'll run across something that I wrote a year or maybe even 5 or 10 years ago, and I'm reading and I'm going, oh wow, this is where I was at. This is what I was thinking. I actually wrote this, and sometimes I'm really impressed with what I've written because I think, oh, I didn't think I could put my words together like that. Other times it's just nice to know that I'm no longer in that place. That
mm,
now I am actually doing something and my life has moved on. I'm still here. And
mhm,
it's also nice to write down nice things that people say to you. Sometimes you need to be able to go back and reflect on something nice that someone said to you and think about why did they say that to me? What did I do that caused them to make that remark to me? It's like it's like when I several years ago, back when they called them charm schools, I attended one, and one of the things that they learned, or rather they taught us, was to always accept a compliment.
mm,
Don't justify it. For example, if someone was to tell, "Oh, what a beautiful dress! That looks so good on you." There was a time when I would say, "Oh, this whole thing, I've had this for for years," not realizing that I've just put that person down. I've just told them, "Oh, you didn't have enough common sense to recognize that this was something old and it really doesn't look good on me," And so you have to learn to accept and just say thank you.
mhm,
When you receive a compliment, don't don't try to uh, justify why it really shouldn't be a compliment. Anytime somebody give you a compliment, take it, no matter what. So there are many things that you can write down. I I can't find this. I can't find this one thing I wrote, and I really would like to, because I was at a car dealership one time to get my car worked on, and I was standing there talking, on the phone, and then I put the phone in my purse, and I just stood there. And this guy who was right across from me, finally he came over. He said, "I just have to tell you,
Hmm.
you look so good and so professional. What kind of work do you do?" I don't know what I did with that because I would like to remember what I felt at the moment and how good it made me feel to have him say that. He was not flirting with me. He didn't ask me for anything. He just said he had to come over and tell me that. How often does somebody do that to you? So you should keep those kind of things so when you're feeling down, you can go back and read it and think, this day I look good enough for a total stranger to walk over and tell me he just had to tell me I look good.
Wow.
You know? So keeping a record of things like that is great. But an even better thing is creating a legacy. My
Hmm.
son did that without realizing what he was doing. I gave him a journal. Well, I never realized it's a journal now. At the time, it was a book that was called School Days, and it went from kindergarten to college. And I gave him that book and didn't think anything about it again. I never thought about it. He never mentioned it or showed it to me or anything. And then when the other kids came along, I didn't even think about it. Go to work, got to think the kids. You're not thinking about things like that.
Hmm.
Well, when my son when my son died in the car accident, the military sent his personal effects, and that book that I had given him so many years ago was in there.
Mm. Mm.
The great thing about it is that it allows me to relive his life from kindergarten to graduation. I can go back and see him grow up all over again. So while it's at the same time it can be hurtful, it's also a way for me to stay connected with him and to read little notes that he put in there, uh, pictures of friends that he stuck in there. It's just nice to see him grow up all over again and remember when I look at each picture, can think back. Okay, what was he like? What was he doing at that time? And it's nice. So he left me something that I can always turn to and look at, and it helps. But for you, and for me, it's an opportunity to leave behind for our families and maybe even someone else. If a family member decides, you know what, I'm going to publish what my grandmother put in here, then somebody else also has a chance to learn from some of the experiences you had and how you handled them. So,
Yes.
you
Anna
know,
says, "Oh wow, he treasured that book you gave him. That's beautiful," she says.
thank you, Anna. It
Mhm.
it really was. It's almost as if he knew in some way that he would not always be with me. But I have wonderful memories, and at first it hurt to go back and look at those, but now I smile when I look at it because it brings back wonderful memories, things that you kind of forget over time, especially when you
You
start
know,
to get to
you
be my age.
know, I never thought of journaling as being an opportunity to leave a unofficial memoir.
Yeah, absolutely.
How interesting.
Hmm. And for those people who want to write a book and they don't know how to get started, this is an excellent way to do that. The first book that I wrote on my own was because of something that I had journaled. I had I was going through a really dark period right there. And it's only about that period, it's not my whole life. And I wrote about how I was feeling. And as I was writing, I kept thinking, oh, shoot, how am I going to get out of this? I don't want to be here. I'm not going to no doctors. I don't like doctors. I was thinking all these things. And as I kept writing, and I put it down and I read it again and I thought, okay, so now I know what's going on in my life. I know what's happening. I know how I'm feeling. So what are you going to do about it? How are you going to get out of this situation? So I came up with 5 things I could do that could helped me get out of that situation. And I wrote about it. And then I wrote something I called my secret ingredient recipe or something like that, and put down some action steps that you could take. But the point of it is, by the time I was through, that was a book, and I was no longer feeling where I was at. That
Mm.
place had disappeared. And it was a great feeling to think, I have something to do to get out of this. I don't have to
Yes.
be here. So there's so many things that journaling can help you in. And for those of you who say, I don't have the time, I can be writing every single day. No, you don't
Mhm.
have to write every day, and you don't have to spend hours writing. You can just take 2, 5 minutes today, a week from now, a couple of times a month. You don't have to write every day. It's when you feel you need to express something, good or bad, that you want to get off your chest, especially things that are bad.
Mm.
Those are the ones that affect your health when they
Wow.
sit there and fester. The good
Yeah.
things is because it's good to remember something wonderful that happened. So you want to share that.
Mm. Anna
Take a
says
picture.
taking photos of live streams helps remind her of good moments. And she says, good point for the book slash memoir writing.
It's
Mm-hmm.
an excellent way to get started writing a book. And if you've got some things that you've already journaled, I would go back and look at those and see what did I write here that might help someone. And you can start there. If not, take some prompts. The internet is filled with wonderful prompts to help you get started in writing. So, anyway, those are some of the things that I wanted to share with you. I hope they are a benefit to all of you, and that you take at least one of those things and run with it. If a journal can even become a vision board for you, and I know most people like vision boards. I myself like them because it's a visual of what I want to have happen, and I have seen those work so well. But you can create one in your journal, and I would have a journal that's uh, the size of, well, no size, no bigger than a pocketbook, because you can stick it in your purse and take it with you and write in it anytime you think. Or you can have specific journals. For example, I have, it's a tablet, but I call it my journal because when somebody asks me to pray for them, I can put their name in there and why they wanted me to pray. Because I found myself forgetting after I'd done my prayer, and I go, oh, I forgot so and so wanted me to pray for them. And so when I write it down, it's there. I can refresh my memory. I need to pray for this person and why.
Mm-hmm.
You could have a travel journal or a dream journal, ideas. I mean, there's so as many things as you can think of, there's a journal for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow. Well, Luana, you have piqued my interest because I think that some of us are unofficial journalists, journalers,
You
um,
probably are.
because we do write down things. We may not have a routine or be consistent, but if we are taking notes, because I have a bunch of stuff where I've taken notes in the past, I never
Mhm.
considered that a journal.
Yeah, you keep up with that stuff and you can refer back to it. Um, Sometimes I have ideas, I'll jot them down and then I forget all about the idea, and I'll run across it at another time and I go, oh, shoot, I never did do this. Now is a good time for me to do this. So, I mean, whatever it is that you need, it can become a journal. And if people like Richard Branson and Oprah Winfrey, even Ted Turner, if they
Mm-hmm.
can keep a journal and you see where they're at, what's our excuse?
Might not be a bad idea.
Hmm.
Wow. I've got to put on my I've been on this computer all morning and put on my glasses to cut down some of the blue light. But I am really fascinated with the idea of journaling having a mental health benefit. I,
Hmm.
a place to release the ideas and the things that are running through our minds.
It's excellent for mothers who feel overwhelmed because they're working and
Mm,
taking care of the home and they
wow.
need to vent. That's a great
Yes.
way to do that. It's excellent for the entrepreneur who has so much going on in their lives. They're trying to handle home and get a business going or keep it going. It's a place to vent. It's
Mhm.
great for people who are established. And most of them become established because they kept a journal of
Hmm.
what they want to do, when they want to have it done by. They just keep a record of that and they can refer back to that journal and
Wow.
keep it fresh in their mind. And as I say, you can also make it a vision board. And there's nothing like having that picture that you're looking at all the time and going, that's me.
Okay.
That's where I am at. Not tomorrow, that's where I'm at now. And you keep that in the forefront. uh, Journaling has for me has been a blessing.
Hmm.
I honestly believe that the Lord asked me to do this and to share it with others because it came at a time when I had been bugging him about what was I to do.
Yes.
And he had been trying to tell me and I wasn't listening. So he shut me down. That's what I call it. He shut me down for about 3 or 4 weeks in which I was so sick.
Mm.
I honestly, I thought maybe I had COVID. The only problem was I did not have the respiratory problem, but I really thought I had.
That is
And
not a problem.
I
Okay.
was having conversations with the Lord.
Hmm.
I was thanking Him for the long life, and I was reminding Him that He promised me an even longer one. But during that time, journaling kept circling in my head.
Hmm.
And when I finally was back on my feet, and it took me another 3 weeks to recoup. But when I got back on my feet, I started looking into journaling. That's I thought. Now I don't know why this is in my head. I must It must be for me to do something about it. And as I started learning more and more, and I realized how I could help people through journaling.
Wow. Well, Anna's
Mhm.
got some comments over here for you. She says, you can find lovely small notebooks made in Italy, TJ Maxx, Barnes Nobles. She
Mhm.
says, memoir writer Mary Carr taught in Syracuse University for years.
Mhm.
And you had more to say. It wasn't time for you to go. You had more to say,
Oh,
Lawanda.
I have a ton to say, but in the interest of not losing people because they're getting bored, as they
No, no.
say,
I have a question for you before you
okay.
go there. I want to ask you, do you have a course or anything coming up that to train people how to or help people learn how to journal?
Well, I do a weekly hour thing on Mondays at 6 o'clock, and it's just kind of a little fun thing where some people get together, we journal. I put them in their own private room for like 10 or 15 minutes, and they write, and then we come back, and some of them will share what they've written,
Is
and
this a
some
Zoom
don't.
call or what
It's
is
a
this?
Zoom call, and the great thing about it is that this stays within the group. Whatever is
So how
talked
do they
about or
become a part
discussed,
of the
it just
group? If they want to learn more about journaling, how do they become a part of the group, Luana?
I will put you a link in there where they can register and
Okay,
come.
that'd
Mhm.
be great.
Yeah.
She
So
says
yeah, I do that, and I am
Mondays.
planning a session where we go into more in-depth detail. Uh,
Okay. She
and it also
Anna's
includes some health and
asking.
wellness.
Anna's asking, is that Monday at 6 o'clock for the Zoom call
It's Monday at 6. It's only
at
an hour
Pacific time?
Pacific time. It's
because I
only
think
an
Anna's on
hour.
the East Coast. Okay, so that's gonna be like 9 o'clock your time, Anna, if you're on the East Coast. Okay.
Aha. Well, you know what? If there are enough East Coasters, I can always schedule a different time for
Mhm.
a different day for the East Coast area.
Okay.
I actually have a client from
Uh-oh.
Is she frozen?
I think she's frozen.
Okay, well while she's there, I am going to share the my screen to show you Lawana's blog site. Let's see.
Good. Good, good, good.
Okay.
Hey there. You froze for a little bit, so we're gonna show your website. And not your
okay.
website. Your-
This is her blog.
Oh, that's so
Connect
cool.
you, stay safe, and keep the faith. So you know when you're there, when you're looking for Lawana, and she is at lawanasblog.com.
And
Okay.
I post every day. So there's something on there every day, even if it's only a quote, there's something there every single day.
I tell you, you wrote some really personal stuff on there. I was just like, oh my gosh, this woman is a survivor. Seriously, I was
Thank
just
you.
like, my Lord. And I felt so connected to you after I read those things. I was just like, wow, I had no idea how much you have just experienced. Is the word. I'll grab that word.
Yes.
Experience. Uh, so, yes.
Someday I will have to tell you the story of how I almost became a lady of the night.
Oh my gosh, y'all hear that? This is this is interesting. Okay. That'll capture the imagination. Oh my goodness. Well, Luana, we just want to thank you so much. We're going to come back in here. And Robin,
Luana, I'm at a point in my life I absolutely have to start journaling because I want to start getting my feelings down on a piece of paper.
Well, you should.
I'm trying to get in tune with my feelings because feelings are
mm,
kind of they're elusive sometimes, right? Sometimes you don't
well,
know
I
how you
think
feel,
I have numbed my feelings because I've been through
I,
so much that I've
well,
learned
right?
how to numb them.
I
And
think most people have numbed their feelings, as you
mhm,
say.
mhm,
Mhm.
But the thing about when you're writing it, it's like you open yourself up.
mhm. Yep.
At first, you may not share what's really going on because you're thinking somebody might read this, and I don't want them
Mhm.
to read this.
Somebody
And so
might
you
find
don't
it.
really open up. But as you get
Mhm.
used to it, you start putting on paper the things that you're really feeling. And that takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. Well,
Mm.
let me put it this way, it doesn't happen overnight for everybody. Some people are like Paul.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Well, Cecilia says, "Oh, that sounds interesting, Lady of the Night." Ah, and Anna
It
says,
is an interesting
"Consistency, boom."
story.
Mhm. Yes. Okay.
So
Lord.
anyway, I'm gonna do like Winston Churchill, who said, "A speech should be like a lady's skirt, short enough to capture the interest, long enough to cover the important parts, and still remain a lady."
Oh, all right. Well, Anna says, "Such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Luana."
You're welcome. It was a pleasure to be here. I've enjoyed myself. Thank you so much.
Well, we'll have you back for sure, Lawana,
Mhm.
and you can
Mhm.
teach more about journaling. I think this is really, really important. So this
Well,
is
thank you.
great.
Mhm. I would
Yeah.
be happy to.
Anna says, Terralina, you've compartmentalized too to manage to get by emotionally. Yeah, I think we all do
Hmm.
because we have so many moving parts, especially as women. We've got so many hats. I mean, I literally had trained my children. If I come in the house with this hat on, Y'all need to give me 5 minutes to switch gears. You know what I'm saying? To switch from, you know, the job to the mom job to the, don't just come at me because today was a day. So
Mhm.
we had these little signals so I could compartmentalize my stuff. Oh my gosh, yes, you're right. You are so right.
Thank you so much, Luana.
You're
It's
welcome.
been lovely. Thank you so much.
And I think Dr. Tachi was in here today. Good to see you, Cecilia. We love you. Cecilia's a super fan, and we
Thank
just
you
love
all
you
for
guys.
checking in.
So thank you everyone for coming by, and I hope if you did not catch it all that you will watch the replay because it really does explore the idea of journaling to improve our mental health.
Mhm.
Okay, so do Robin, who do we have coming up next week? Do we know?
Yes, we do. We're having Maureen Stevenson,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what her subject is, but she is a wellness coach in all areas, fashion as well as physical nutrition, everything. So this is so. I love hearing from Maureen too. So this will be fun.
And it was fun watching her over in Jamaica too.
Oh,
I
Yes,
wonder if she kept a journal, Luana.
good question. But I like those pictures she was sharing with us and
Wasn't
some of
that
the
nice?
videos. Hmm.
it was
That's
amazing.
as close as I'll get to Jamaica.
Mhm.
Well, okay. If that's just the way you want it, but
It works for me.
oh, okay. Oh, that's right. You have to drive where you go, right?
Exactly.
She was. I forgot that about you. You like to drive. Okay, you're not a flyer. So,
Mm-mm.
guys, with that, we just want to thank you so much for all you brought to us today. Thank you again, Robin. I'm telling you, I don't know where you get these guests from, but they always bring something to the table to help us do business better and run a profitable business that's fun to run. So we're going to put Lawana's contact information in the chat. Lawana, would you put it over there in the private chat if you can while we're signing off? And I want to remind everybody that we would love for you to become a part of the BizChicks community. And if you're looking to do that, you can actually text Biz to 33777. And somewhere here's the banner to join the BizChicks community. All right. And I think we got one more comment over here. Oh, Cecilia says, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Cecilia. And with that, we want to remind you guys, go to the front of your own line. Have a great day. Tomorrow we'll be talking tech and English with the Biz Chicks. Dr. Tachi will be here talking about media, and TJ will be here talking about social media strategies for marketing your business. We'll be here bringing you up to date on fun things you can do to help you run your business. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you again, Luana. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome. Bye.